How do you destructure properties from a JavaScript object? Imagine you have a big box of items, but you only need a few things from it. Instead of pulling everything out, you can pick just what you want quickly. That's what object destructuring in JavaScript does. It lets you grab specific pieces from an object and assign them to variables in a simple way. To do this, you use a special syntax with curly braces. You write const property1, property2 is equal to object. This line takes the values of property1 and property2 from the object and puts them into variables with the same names. For example, if you have an object called person with first name, last name, and age, you can write const first name, last name is equal to person. Now you have two variables, first name and last name, holding the values from the object. One thing to remember is that the order of properties inside the curly braces does not matter. Unlike arrays, where order is key, object destructuring matches properties by name. So, you can write const last name, first name is equal to person, and it still works perfectly. You can also rename variables if you want to give them different names. Just add a colon after the property name. For example, const last name, surname is equal to person, assigns the value of last name to a new variable called surname. This is handy if you want to avoid conflicts or make your code clearer. Default values are another feature. If a property might not exist in the object, you can set a default. For example, const country is equal to us is equal to person will assign us if person country is undefined. This way, your variables always have a value. Destructuring doesn't change the original object. It just copies the values into new variables. You can extract multiple properties at once by listing them separated by commas. For example, const a first name, last name, age is equal to person, pulls out all three at once. This technique is very useful in web development. It makes working with data from APIs or configuration objects much cleaner. You can also destructure nested objects. Suppose you have a user object with an address inside. You can write const address, city is equal to user to get the city directly. Be careful if the object might be null or undefined. Destructuring directly on such objects can cause errors. To avoid this, you can provide default empty objects or use optional chaining. In short, object destructuring in JavaScript is a quick and clear way to pick out the properties you need from an object. It helps keep your code neat, readable, and easy to work with, especially when dealing with complex data structures.